So good morning, everyone, again. My name is Melini Gonzalez Piloyan, and today we are following a part of the bootcamp session of the Pilot City program on the twinning program. I am coordinating the twinning program in Net Zero Cities. And before we start, some housekeeping rules. This event is being recorded. Please use the chat box to ask any question during the presentation. And also please name yourself and your city that you represent. As I said, this session is part of the webinars that you already had. This is the last one and the third one on the twinning program, and it will last 1 hour. And at the end of the twinning program, I will also pass the floor to my colleague Nicola Manissi, who will give you a brief overview of the Net Zero Cities portal. Yes, this information, okay. So before we start, can you please go to Slido? I guess you already used it in the past, but you just simply need to write on Google this following number, and I will share the question that I have ready for you before we start. So I wait until you all have access to Slido. So the question that we have, the first question on Slido is, have you ever participated to a European peer learning program? The answers can be no, yes, or I did not, but my city did. Just to understand how familiarized you are with the peer learning programs. Okay, so far it seems that no is winning. Let's give 1 more minute before we see the results. Okay. Perfect. So most of you have not participated in a European peer learning program, which is good, because if you are the contact persons for the twinning, you will have the chance for the first time to do so. But I see that also you are aware that your municipality did participate in the past, which is also good. So today, the twinning program is to present you what we offer in the twinning program. And basically, it's a tailored learning program that will allow knowledge sharing and transfer of your good practices between your cities and also the upcoming successful twinning applicants. The overarching goal of this program is to develop long-lasting connections between your cities and the twin cities beyond the scope of the twinning program, which lasts for 2 years. Here is a rough timeline of the twinning program. As I said, it will start in September 2023 and will last until May 2025. The peer learning exchange, which is the learning program, will kick off in September, late September this year. It will be followed by monitoring and evaluation and a final report from our side in May 2025. These are the components of the twinning program, the twinning call and the learning program. We are currently in the process of developing the twinning call, which will be open on the 3rd of May until the 30th of June. And we are also, of course, preparing the selection and matching criteria to ensure a diversity of cities. Around 53 twin cities will be selected in August to start the learning program in September. And for that, I will come back later to this, but the Pilot City profile, which is an online catalog of your pilot activities, is also part of the twinning call. The second component of the twinning program is the learning program, which is a tailored learning program for which will allow your cities and the twin cities to exchange in different modules. It can be online and also site visits during this 2-year exchange. We will also prepare detailed induction and training for the twinning facilitators, which are the city advisors. And of course, they will also provide an oversight of the implementation and monitoring of the learning program. So the twinning call, as I said, will have a duration of almost 2 months. It will be open on the 3rd of May until the 30th of June. And the two main elements of the twinning call are obviously the questionnaire for the twinning applicants, but also your pilot city profiles. And this is one of the reasons why we are today in this session. I will explain later. The target cities to apply for the twinning call, it will be open, of course, to cities from all EU member states and also associated countries from Horizon 2020. And they need to have some kind of climate plans to allow that their city context has a enabling framework to allow the replication of your pilot activities. Of course, the selection and pairing criteria will be based on the overall application score of the twinning applicants, their learning needs and preferences based on what you offer in your pilot profiles. We will, of course, ensure a diversity of geographical balance and diverse size of cities. And in the end, 1 to 2 twin cities will be paired per pilot city. So what is your role as a pilot city in the twinning call? As you know, on the 1st of March, we announced 53 pilot cities that will implement innovative actions and 25 pilot activities. Of course, we have 6 multi-city pilots, which will have a different approach for the profiles, and I will also come back to that later. And these multi-city pilots are Spanish, Germany, Poland, Netherlands, Italy, and Slovenia. And you will be requested to provide the information for the online catalog of pilot profiles that we are planning to develop. So what is the pilot profile? The objective is to foster a peer learning and allow the twin cities, the potential applicants, to explore, get inspired, and gain a full understanding of your pilot activities. The target audience will be the city administrations applying to the twinning open call. And what is required from your side in this is to refine the existing information that you already provided for your pilot applications. You will receive, as you see in the screen on the right, a template of your pre-populated pilot city profile with information that will be already pre-filled, but you will need to check the information that is already provided there and refine the information that you will need to provide also based on your pilot application. Here, the approach is completely different from the pilot application. Instead of being as comprehensive as possible, which you had to provide information about the detailed activities for the pilot call, here less is more, because we need to be as concrete as possible to allow the twin applicants to understand, to have a quick snapshot of your project activities, the objectives, the emission domains, and what you want to achieve in the long term in your city. This will be requested to send us back the information by the 12th of April, but I will share with you the timeline for that. So I will go through very quickly this pilot profile template. So 19 cities today will receive a pre-filled pilot city profile with their city name, country, size, language. You will have to provide a small image of your city, then the project title, the activities description with a short overview of what is already in your pilot application, the objectives. Here we will have one sentence. What is the main objective of your pilot activities? It can be to change the district heating, to create a one-stop shop, to have a framework for energy communities, but it should be the main objective. It can be also general, but it has to be the main one here. The third question is whether these pilot activities are building from previous or existing activities in your city. Then you have a selection of your main emission domains. Here, of course, most of you in your pilot applications, you mention most of the emission domains because, of course, your actions are quite innovative and they encompass all the emission, most of the emission sectors. But here we ask you to be a bit more precise, and if there is some emission domains that are more relevant in your pilot activities and that you would like to showcase to the twinning cities, please select only those instead of all of them. And same logic applies to the levers of change. If there are some levers that you think will be more relevant during your pilot activities and that you could share with the twin applicants, please select only those that you consider relevant. And same for the stakeholders type. We don't need to have the information of which are the stakeholders specifically, but just the type of them. And here on other, you can also specify if we didn't include any of the stakeholder type that you mentioned in your pilot application. The envisaged timeline of your pilot activities, this will be an important information for the twin applicants, because as I said, we want to enable long-term connections with the twin cities beyond the scope of the pilot activities and beyond the scope of the twinning program. So if you think your pilot activities will have an end date beyond the pilot 2-year program, please mention this, specify it here. Here is the third part of your pilot profile, which is actually the most important for me as the coordinator of the twinning program, because here we will know the alignment with our program based on what you already provided in terms of replicability and transferable features of your pilot activities, starting with the most important criteria for you, giving you also the role and empowering you to understand what do you think is the most important criteria when we pair you eventually with the twin applicants. Most of you already mentioned this information in your pilot activity, so you will see that this information is pre-filled. Most of you mentioned the geographical size, the proximity, the climate conditions of the city, but feel free to elaborate more or include further information. The second question is transferable features of your pilot activities. Again, this information is already provided in your pilot application and you will see it pre-filled, most of you. Then the components of these transferable features, here we are going a bit more narrowing down the information provided in the second box and to have a bit more concrete actions or activities that you think could be transferable to the twin city. Again, we are working on the basis that, of course, you don't know yet because you will start your pilot activities in June, and we are simply thinking about possible scenarios, how this could be transferable to a third city. Of course, again, here the potential barriers that the twin cities could encounter when replicating your pilot activities. I guess you could have some idea of this kind of barriers. It can be related to infrastructure or also local contexts such as the governance, the political situation of the twin city. And we also included the question of your learning needs, because of course the twinning program should be a win-win approach and not only allow one way of transferring your good practices to the twin cities, but also to allow you to learn from the twin cities, which I'm sure they will have many interesting experiences to share with you. So here you need to elaborate, and this information was not provided in your pilot applications, of course. And last but not least, we want to hear from you what is a successful twinning experience for your city. What do you think could allow that? And in the end, if you want to include some relevant links of your city administration or some projects that you already are going to start with, feel free. And in the end, just some basic information of the key contact point for the twinning program. Let's go back to our presentation. I will give the floor later for Q&A, no worries. I'm sure you have many questions, but this slide is already fine. As I said, this will be the key information, the part on the transferability features. And as I said, we will have different approach for the multi-city pilots. Why? Because, of course, the multi-city pilots have from 3 to 9 cities in their pilot activities. And in order to develop their pilot profiles, we will have dedicated calls with the 6 multi-city pilots during this week on Thursday and Friday. It will be just 30 minutes call. But before that, we will ask you to understand among yourself how you would like to be involved in the twinning program. In particular, those multi-city pilots that have more than 3 cities. And then we will create tailored templates for your profiles. So this question on how you would like to be involved in the twinning program depends on whether you want to have one leading city, such as the city that applied, for example, to the pilot city, or you want to be all of you involved in the twinning program, individually, separated, or you want to be grouped per 2. It doesn't matter the approach. We just need to simply clarify how you want to be involved in the program. And based on that, of course, we will create your dedicated templates for your profiles with questions such as if you have a different role and objectives compared to the rest of the group, can you please elaborate? So then we create your profiles and we allow as well the twinning applicants to understand what are your different objectives maybe. And in the end, we will create an online catalog of your pilot profiles, which of course will be also useful to the rest of the pilot cities. So then you can click on each city and see what are their activities, objectives, etc., etc. And it will be, of course, available on Net Zero Cities website. Finally, here is the rough timeline of the pilot city profiles. Of course, today you will receive your pre-populated profiles via email. Then we will ask you to send back the completed profile, check the information that is already there, whether it's okay or not for you, by the 12th of April, after the Easter break. Then we will proofread and prepare for going online by the 21st of April, but we will share a final version of your profiles to have your final validation by the 28th of April, in order to allow us to go online on the 3rd of May, which is the day that we will launch the twinning call. Before we go to Q&A, please let's go back to Slido, if you can. And I will activate again the Slido. Up. Voila. And this is a Slido question, which is, what do you expect from the Net Zero Cities twinning program, now that you have a better, hopefully, understanding of the program? Okay. Good to see the first reactions. Interesting. Great. I feel like we are already including most of these comments in the twinning program, which is good. We are on the same page. Guidance. Okay, it feels like guidance is winning. Okay. Great. Let's give 1 more minute, which we're learning, of course. Sharing, strategic exchanges. Lots of interesting feedback. Excellent. Inspiration. Great. one more participant typing. Let's, I know. Okay, we cannot maybe wait one more minute. And I give you the floor for the Q&A. Perfect. Thanks a lot. It was very useful to have your feedback. Let's go to Q&A. I will stop sharing my screen so then I can see you as well. Thank you very much. Let's open the floor for Q&A. Here. I cannot see. Okay. Let's give the floor to Dag. Okay.
Yes, good morning. Dag Andersen from Drammen City, Norway. Thank you for the good presentation. So the twin cities, will they have a separate selection process, and they will they see our planned projects when they apply? And the second question is, will they also have financial resources as part of their, will they have separate grant agreements and so on for their projects, or are they there to support us in our projects?
Okay, thank you very much, Dag. Appreciate it. For your first question, of course, they will go through a selection process within the consortium of Net Zero Cities. We will convene a selection committee, first to have a qualitative assessment of their applications, and then the matching criteria based on your profiles. Because of course, the idea of publicating a pilot booklet or online catalog is to allow the twin cities to have access of your activities. So most of the information will be public on your pilot profiles. And this will inspire the twin applicants to understand what they can learn from you, and then to elaborate on their reasons why they are interested in being paired with X activities. So this is the approach, let's say. And your second question, the financial resources. Unfortunately, the twinning applicants, they won't have money to replicate your good practices. But of course, we have funding for the twinning program per se, which includes the study visits and all these exchanges that you will have. The study visits, we have the funding for the twin cities, 2 representatives traveling to your city once, and also for you as a pilot city to travel back to the twin city. We have the budget for that. Thank you. I hope this answers your question. If not, feel free to ask again. Yes, Petra, please.
Yes, thank you, Malene. I was wondering, because last week we met also our peers, and we have much connection with Bristol, for example. So we will work together as well. And how is this interrelated in the twinning program and the peer learning within the pilots? Because there can be a lot of connection. I don't know if you've thought about it, how to organize, or is there some things that we could combine? How was your perception on that?
Absolutely. Indeed, as you remember, you had the presentation from my colleague Nikhil last week, who is coordinating together with Naila, who is also in this call, the sense-making and cross-fertilization program for the pilot cities. The difference here is that, of course, we are different colleagues working on different work packages and programs, but of course, at some point, we would like to have a combined session, because you will be separated per cohorts or clusters, sorry, of pilot cities based on your similar learning needs and objectives. But this is part of the pilot city learning program within the pilot cities. The twinning program is different. It's outside the pilot city learning program, because it allows, it's open for all the cities, right? It's not even for only in mission cities. So it's a different approach, but of course you're absolutely right. At some point during the learning program, which starts in September, we will have to find connections and similar modules together. Indeed. Yes. Okay, Barbara, did you raise your hand? No. Okay. Paola, please.
Yes, hello.
Oh, Paola.
One question, just to clarify, in our budget of our pilot program, because we are several cities, 9 cities, Italian cities, we have budget for visiting another city, no, that it's a twinning city, but if I understand correctly, is not the same budget you're talking about when you talk about the twinning city program of net zero cities, and this city may be different, or okay, so basically we as consortium, we select a set of cities that we are keen on and we want to visit, to exchange with in our pilot, and plus there is the twinning program you're talking about, that you will select other cities, or they are mixed? They are...
Okay, yeah, it's true that there is a bit of confusion on which cities you will visit, what's your budget allocated internally within your pilot activities for, but indeed you were requested to have a specific amount as well for the twinning exchange. So the cities that you will visit are part of the twinning program. And as I said, we are allowing you to give us all the selection criteria and also like what type of preference you have when you will be paired with the cities. But we prefer to avoid the question of which city you would like to be paired with, because at this stage we don't know which twin cities will be applying. So we prefer to have to work on the content, on substance, on which kind of subjects you want to exchange with. Where do you see most potential for replication, in order to allow us to match your city with the best option, with the optimal option later in August. That's why. And of course, we have the separate budget for the visit, but the best is that you also have a budget for that. So we will allow more exchanges rather than only once in a 2-year program. You could also visit it twice or have more colleagues visiting, of course.
So the cities with which we will twin will be selected by you? By
the selection committee, yes.
Yeah. See, not you, but okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cities. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Agnes, please.
Yes, thank you. I've wrote my questions in the chat. So just a short organizational question. You mentioned that the multi-city pilots get another invitation for this week, but we haven't won. So when will you send it? Because the time is time slots are small. You mentioned on Thursday or Fridays this week. So we have to know it as soon as possible.
It will be right after this call.
Okay, thank you. And you mentioned in your presentation that the climate city advisors will be the facilitators of the exchange formats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they will
right?
be the facilitators of the twinning program. Yeah.
Because we planned in our twinning program, so mentoring visits and study visits and so on for the twin cities. And so we calculated also external facilitators, because we want to try really agile formats, and we ourselves are moderators and facilitators, teach and design thinking. So we would like to do it by ourselves.
Okay. This is something that I need to check internally, if that's possible. But of course, it doesn't prevent you to bring as well someone to the exchange. But we need to have also our own facilitators, because then they are going to monitor and oversight the implementation of the learning program during this 2 years period.
Yeah, if you need an observer, you can send an observer, but
Yeah.
I think it depends on the city's exchange, which facilitator they need for a format.
Yes.
Or I think it's a decision of the cities.
You mean, no, of course, the facilitator yourself, I mean, of course, there will be representatives per pilot city, representatives per twin city, and someone neutral, like, I don't know if you ever participated to a Covenant of City peer learning program, but you always have a colleague who is like a, let's say, a neutral person that coordinates all the calls and meetings and is a contact person of the program. So we have something like that in mind.
Let's
but
keep it open, maybe for the internal clearing we have on Thursday and Friday. So I think I have another opinion on that.
Okay, sure. No, it's good to know. And this session is also for that, because we are in early stage of developing the twinning program. So all kind of feedback are more than welcome. Okay, who's next? Dag or Valentina? I don't know who was before.
Yeah, thank you. Dag Hansen from Drammen, Norway again. Depending on the number of applications you receive for the twinning program, can one of the 53 selected pilot cities also become a twin city?
No, because you are a pilot city. You cannot be both, unfortunately. It's good to know that maybe you're ambitious and you would like to be involved in both ways, but it's quasi impossible actually, because if you are a pilot, then a twin city will be paired with you.
Okay. So how do we get access to each other's pilot projects within the group of the 53 cities?
Yes, I heard that you are quite interested in learning from each other pilot activities. Of course, the online catalog, which will come later at the end of April, will give you a clear overview of each other's pilot activities. But before that, we will find a way to share a draft version of your pilot profiles. But again, the pilot profile will be useful in both senses, to allow us to open the twinning call for the twinning applicants, but also for you as pilot cities to see, to understand each other's activities.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, Valentina, please.
Hi, I'm Valentina from Climate Geek and the Spanish cities platform CTS 2030. Melanie, could you share with us what kind of criteria will be used for the selection of the twin cities? I ask this because the Spanish cities were concerned to ensure that the project has a real scalability in the national territory, and it would be ideal if they could work with non-mission Spanish cities. And I don't know if it is possible. If other Spanish cities apply, it is possible that they will be matched with the Spanish multi-city pilot, or it is expected that there will be a mix of countries and this is not a criteria.
Of course, as I said, this is a European peer learning program. So the idea is to have exchanges at European level. Of course, we need to be based on some basic criteria. We cannot pair one super advanced city with another one that is just starting with their climate plans. Or they have different meteorological conditions, they have different climate challenges. Of course, we need to avoid this, but we will promote rather European level exchange rather than national. And the selection criteria is currently being developed, but of course I can check internally if we can get your feedback, give you a couple of days also to provide your comments and see if you want to include something different, again, to empower you to be as much involved as possible. So then we can match your cities with the best options.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any more questions? I see the chat is full of questions and comments. Nikhil. Is there a physical meeting planned between pilot cities in the midterm? I guess this is a question for my colleagues Nikhil and Naila. I've understood that the climate city advisors are the facility. This we answered already. Yes. Okay. We don't have more questions. Is that right? Okay.
Actually, no. May I? Jana Heide from Warsaw. I put in my question to the question and answer, not to the chat, sorry. I just wanted to clear out how do the multi-cities should let you know how we would like to be involved. Is that what you expect for the next meeting on Tuesday, Friday, or you want us to send it somehow by email or
No
by
worries.
other tool?
Sure, of course, you will receive after this call, as the rest of the 19 pilot cities with their pre-populated profiles, you will also receive an email asking to coordinate among yourself first exactly what's the approach that you want to have in the twinning program. This question will be, of course, in the email and everything before we have the call at the end of this week. So we will ask the lead city from the multi-city applicants that was, in the pilot application. There is always one lead city. In the case of Italy, is Bologna. So the lead city will coordinate with the rest of the cities this question, the answer to this question. And then in our dedicated call, you will let me know. And then based on that, we will create your pilot profiles.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. Yes, Heli from Turku, please.
Yeah, hi. I just had one more question, that how often are you planning to have this kind of facilitated twin city conversations? There was that was not really said, or then I didn't notice it.
You
like
mean
how much I should expect to use time in our city to this twinning program?
Mm-hmm, of course. We are in the process of developing the overall learning program, because your question is directly addressing the learning program, which starts in September. But of course, I was in the last session of my colleague Nikhil, and I went to the breakout room on the peer learning. And there was a very interesting comment from one of your colleagues, I think it was from Lemesos, who was saying that the frequency of the exchanges with the other cities will matter, because if we have too much break of too many months of not hearing from each other, the connection will be a bit frozen. So in order to allow a bit recurrent exchanges between the cities, the twin cities and the pilot cities, we will have, I guess, between 2 months recurrence of modules and exchanges and visits and etc. But this is still a bit to be defined.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, if there are no more questions, I will pass the floor to my colleague Nicola, and I will maybe, I don't know if you are there, Nicola.
Yes, I am.
Okay, then I will go to the next slide, which is your slide.
So for those of you who do not know the platform, we have a platform which is kind of like a social media platform, which is obviously more powerful than that. It would be a bit reductive to present it like that, but it's a start. Let's say if you are not yet registered on it, I can only incite you to go and register on it. So the the address, as you can see, is netzerocities.app. This platform works, just so you know, works without without a password, so that you won't ever be able to forget it. Whenever you'll try to log in, you will be sent a PIN via email, and or if you can't receive it via email, you will be asked if you want to receive it by text. I would like to highlight the fact that if you are working in a municipality, you have to select the CT user profile at the second step, the one that is highlighted, that is in blue at the bottom left part of your screen here on the presentation. You have to select a CT user profile, and at the third step, after your name, you have to enter the city you are an officer of. And if it is a mission city, you will have a blue banner confirming the fact that this is a city, and that way, when completing your registration, you will be automatically added to the city page profile. Now, please, Meline, you can go to the next slide, because this brings me to the next thing, is the role of city page admin. City pages, cities can have admins designated. Admin can obviously edit the city profile page, which means you can update on the platform. Your city has a basic description that has been imported from Wikipedia. You are obviously invited to modify it, to update it. To do that, you need to be designated as admin, so you can edit your city profile page. You can also publish content in the name of your city. As an admin, you have the possibility to switch in between your personal account and the account of your city, where you will be able to publish content in the name of your city, but also create groups, events, whatever, but in the name of your city, as you can see at the bottom right part of your screen here. You can also name additional admins, certify or revoke city users. If someone made a mistake while registering onto the platform, you can indicate that this person is not a member of your city, and thus revoke its access rights. You can name additional admins that can also manage the page and the content published by your city. You can request the city admin role if you do not have it yet, by following the link that is included in the platform. Otherwise, if you can also find it on the FAQ section of the platform. Now, if you have questions, I open the floor for them. Hi, Alex. Thank you for your question. So you have to there's a if you follow the link embedded in the slides, or if you go let me just find the link. I will send you the link toward the FAQ.
You can share your screen, Nicola. Sorry, I stopped sharing. You can go for it.
It seems, unfortunately, I cannot. My computer has a problem, which I'm very sorry about. But if you follow this link, you have a question. You have a question in here. How do I manage my city profile page, which is the third question from the top. And you have a link you have a link for the form where you can request the CT admin rights. Are there any more questions? Okay, great. Then back to you, Meline, I guess. If not, you can find me. You can also use the chat function of the platform to send me a direct message, and I will help you through the platform. Please do not hesitate. This is why I'm here.
Thank you very much, Nicola. Then I guess we can conclude our session. If there are no more questions about the platform or the twinning program, we will finish it now, and I will come back to you via email with either your pilot city profiles, or if you are a multi-city, with a time slot for Thursday and Friday to meet very briefly, around 30 minutes, to understand the way forward. So thank you very much for your time and for your questions and interesting inputs in the Slido. And as I said, I will come back to you with more follow-up. Thanks a lot, and have a nice day and a nice week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you too, Meline.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.